Recording is on.
Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
It's your boy Darcy.
And this is Big Geek Umar. How y'all doing today?
Bro, that was such a lackluster. It's your boy Darcy. What are you? Are you tired, bro? It's your boy Darcy.
I'm here.
I was trying to be sultry. No, I my day job made me work to 2:00 in the morning when I meant to go to bed at midnight.
That explains it.
They're like, oh, you need to come to this meeting at 11 p.m. at night. I'm like, what? And then like, oh, how long will it take? Half hour to like 1 a.m. I'm like, what?
Yeah, a long half hour.
But totally not related. Umar, I like the shirt.
Was that Turtles?
Yeah.
Ah, shit. Okay.
80s version.
All right. We stepping it up today. I got nothing geeky other than my Batman cup. You got nothing, bro.
I have a Batman cup up in there. I just don't feel like getting up right now.
Brothers be slipping. All right. Okay. So, Umar, let's kick things off. What do we got for today?
So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the new Project Power movie that came out on Netflix. This, I think, like last week or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like this week, either or. But so just to make sure you both have watched it, right?
Yep.
Nah.
Yeah,
of
I figured.
course.
So, okay, just an FYI to all the audience members, we'll go, spoiler warning, we're going to start talking about Project Power, and we're not going to be restricting what we say. So if you haven't watched Project Power,
4 minutes in, get out of this video already is all I'm going to say.
Or I would fast forward to our other agenda items, which would be discussing a lot of the DC fandom information that we've been getting, and also, so that's going to be later on in the video. So you guys, if you want, you can just jump to that stuff. But for all those who have watched Project Power or don't care about spoilers, we're about to break it down. So, Darcy, let's start with you. What do you think of Project Power?
I thought you were going to say, don't care about Project Power. I'm like, or if you don't care about Project Power, just continue watching. We talked about this offline already. So I'm going to first go off of, I'm going to give my rating first, okay? So my rating was a 6.5 with an added 5.5. And I'm going to explain why. So 6.5 as overall for how I felt about the film. I thought the CGI was really dope. I thought they actually did like a really good job with the CGI aspect of it. And like it just like I thought it was going to be like just like 1-2 things we saw in the trailer, and that was cool. Every part that they did CGI was on point. I thought that a lot of the actors did a great job. Jamie Foxx did a great job. I forget her name, but the new up and coming actress that was in the film. I
think it's like Dominique something.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call her what Jamie Foxx called her, Black Girl Magic. So she was stealing the show. She did a great job. Every scene she was in, she was killing it. Our boy Joseph out there, I'm gonna call him Robin because I watched Dark Knight Rises recently. So he did a fine job with what his role and everything like that. I enjoyed a bunch of that. Even though Casey Neistat's not a good actor, I still kind of enjoyed him a little bit just because I'm a fan. But he's not a good actor. He admitted it on his YouTube. He's like, I'm not a good actor. Like, yeah, you're not wrong. But overall, he's a YouTuber. The guy with the motorcycle and the girlfriend, the ice girl that died.
Oh, okay.
The guy with the glasses. He's a famous YouTuber. Like he invented vlogging to the level that it got popular. Anyways, I enjoyed a lot of like the acting and the CGI. Story is on the weaker side. That's the real problem. It's you can see it all coming a mile away, right? Every twist and turn you can see it coming. The added 0.5 that I gave it is just because the one thing I liked about it, and I kind of realized midway through the movie, I was just watching and enjoying it. I was like, it's New Orleans, and I just like actually appreciated the representation in the film, not like specifically in Jamie Foxx's role, but actually in more the what's the term for it? The actors in the background.
Supporting cast.
Like supporting cast, but even less than that. Like
Extras.
Extras. Yeah. Tactix said it well. Umar said something else. I only heard half of it. But like just the overall vibe. Like I just felt like there was a good representation of what would actually represent New Orleans, and it wasn't like all washed to one race or the other. And I just appreciated it because it just felt like a more balanced film, for me, in that respect. But I only give it a 0.5. Like that's not gonna like take it to change any big rating for me. It's just I'm like, oh yeah, a little extra check mark for me from that. That's how I felt about the film. I enjoyed it. It's a good popcorn flick, but it's not like, oh my god, that is amazing. It's just like it was good to like sit down on Netflix at home with your girl and just like watch it, kind of a deal.
How about you, T?
Okay, so I was super excited to watch this movie when it first aired. The name was very enticing, and you guys both know why. Fun little fact: when years ago, when we were more heavy into the YouTube scene, we all three of us worked on a web series together called Boost. But prior to that name, it was actually originally called Power. So when this came out, I was just like, motherfucker stole our fucking idea, yo. So it was like I was very intrigued. I was very interested to see this movie, and we were talking about it off camera on our WhatsApp chat. And basically what I said was, so how to basically describe this movie. It's like, like for people who enjoy like sparkling water, for example, right? It's a very acquired taste. Not a lot of people really enjoy it, myself included. Yeah. But let's just say you're stranded out in the desert. You haven't had water in like a couple days. You're pretty much dying of thirst, right? And someone comes around and is like, "Hey, man, I'm giving out free water." And you're like, "Oh, what kind?" It's like, "Oh, it's sparkling water." And you're like, "Fuck. All right, cool, fine." And you go and you drink the sparkling water, and it's the best fucking tasting water you've ever had in your life. It's so good. But then you get halfway through the bottle and you're like, it's sparkling water. This is disgusting. Right? That's kind of how I felt about the movie. I was like, because to make more sense of that analogy, like because we haven't really had any movies released, we weren't allowed to go to the movie theaters because the theaters were closed down, right? And we hadn't had any new releases, especially on that same level in terms of like superhero stuff. Aside from the Netflix stuff that we got, like Extraction and Extraction's not a superhero movie, but what was the other one? The Old Guard. Yeah. So when I saw this and I saw the visuals from the trailer, I was really enticed, and I was like, "Oh man, this looks really, really good." And I'm watching it. I'm all ready. I got my pizza. I'm like, I'm good to go. I'm excited, and I'm watching it, and then and I'm enjoying it, and then I get halfway through, and I'm just like, this movie's kind of flat. It's all flash and no real substance, right? So yeah, I was kind of like, yeah.
What's your rating of it?
Right. So I would give it a 6.5. I'm not adding no 0.5. That 6.5 is my solid rating. I mean,
stop hating.
No, I'm not hating. I'm just very firm in that. Like it barely got that 0.5 for me because I was like it's really getting by it on the visual merits alone. Like the storyline was pretty trash. It was a very generic plot. The acting was great. I found that everyone aside from Casey Neistat was pretty solid. The action was good.
Machine Gun Kelly was actually a surprisingly good actor. Yeah, I didn't even know it was Machine Gun Kelly until after they're like, "Oh, pictures of Machine Gun Kelly, the guy who's on fire." I didn't realize that was Machine Gun Kelly, the rapper. Yeah, it's a great YouTube clip. Someone was like, I was watching today. They're like analyzing the movie, and they're like, "Oh, Machine Gun Kelly burst into like combustion of flames." Also, like when Eminem drops a diss track and they play that song, and then him like on fire, and I was like, "Oh, it's so good."
That's amazing. But yeah, so 6.5, barely a 0.5 for me. Some highlights that I really enjoyed was To be honest, seeing Joseph Gordon-Levitt back again, because he's been gone for a minute, man. Like the last movie I think I saw him in was what did he do? Don John after Dark Knight Rises, or was that before?
I think that was before.
Before, okay. So then probably I guess Dark Knight Rises was the last thing that I saw him in.
Yeah, you didn't see Snowden then.
Snowden, no, I didn't see Snowden.
He was good in it, but it was kind of boring.
Yeah, it seemed like it was like I don't know. I heard mixed reviews about that movie, but overall, I like him as an actor, especially in Don John. Like I found that's like one of my like low key like favorite movies. But acting was great, action was good, plot was kind of mediocre. 6.5 is my rating, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll give my review. For me, I mean. Giving it a 6, that's me being generous with it. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving it like a 6, but like I could give it a 5.5, but I'm not because I feel we're so starved for stuff right now. It wasn't a complete waste of time, but it was just kind of like, okay, it's here. The reasons are kind of similar to what you guys said. Like this was like a 90s action movie, like an early 90s action movie in like the modern day. That's how I saw it. Like it's more progressive. I agree with you. It's more progressive in terms of diversity. But it's like in actuality, like the film, the dialogue wasn't as corny, but like the plot points were and plot holes. So plot points and plot holes were very 90s level. I found the acting to be okay. I didn't have any significant issues with the acting. I felt that Dominique Fishback, like if this is her first film, solid first film for her. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jamie Foxx, it was good to have them both back again. I can't remember the last time I watched a Jamie Foxx film. But yeah, I found this rather interesting choice for Joseph Gordon-Levitt to make his big comeback. Like for me, the last time I saw him was in Snowden, and that was like 2016, I think, or 15, 16 or 15. So like it's been like a few years at the very least.
He had a baby,
and that's true. He did have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Foxx. I don't hate Jamie Foxx, but I don't love him. Like I just have like a nice little sweet spot for him. I enjoy him when I do. I have no real strong feelings about him, but I found that the pacing was kind of rushed. Frankly, there was nothing new. It's just like you said, Darcy. Like we know everything is seen like a mile a minute, and. It's not like they didn't have the opportunity to do new things. They just chose not to. And the weird thing is, like, the writer of the movie is helping to write the Batman with that's Matt Reeves is doing. So that worries me slightly.
You know, on like your thought on that though is like, I feel like, so you said like they had the opportunity to do more with this film, and I feel like Black Girl Magic, Dominique's character, was the heart of the story, and they could have expanded on, because there was a social commentary that this movie was trying to make about, you know, the pill was put into poor communities and further disenfranchises poor communities. It is a physical drug, and it's like a drug metaphor, the movie in and of itself, and how it's affected, poor communities. And, you know, her character was like the heart of the story, and they took a generic approach to what that statement was. The hope was with the trailer and with her characters that they would have done more with that, and it would have been more fleshed out, or there would have been some, twist on that statement that would make you, take a step back and go, oh, I didn't think of it like that. But they didn't take it that far, right? So it's like it was good that they did have that heart in that statement, so that it wasn't like it could easily go back 2 points without her character and her part of the movie. It could easily fall back 2 points, because then or even 3 points, because you'd be like, oh, okay, it's just move between fight to fight. Welcome to the 90s. Like there's nothing insane, right? But her part was great. And I want to like reemphasize on my 0.5 piece, which is like, I don't know why I air quoted that, but the reason why I actually liked the diversity in this was more that it took me halfway through the film to realize it was diverse. And the thing I liked about that was that it wasn't like diversity in the perspective of like, we hired a bunch of black people and like shove them in your face. I actually just didn't notice how many black people there were until at one point I just kind of recognized that there was a lot of black people in a lot of different roles throughout like the police department and other parts of the city and stuff like that, to the point that I was just actually, it was like, it was so in the background that it felt like this was just the world that they're in, and I didn't notice it, and it just felt natural. It didn't feel like a forced behavior. So the only reason I gave it a 0.5 was like, great. It wasn't the like frontline casting that caught my attention. It was the actual like extras that caught my attention. That was the thing that was like, oh, well, you didn't make a big deal about it and you did actually do it. And that's really more towards the direction that I want to see in more films as a whole. Not that this is an unbelievable example of diversity in filmmaking. It's just, I just noticed that point like halfway through the film. So
yeah. And so look, for me, I felt that they had the opportunity to like comic book writers could give more tidbits of like where to take the story to make it a little bit more original, or I don't know, to make it more smart. It just felt like a very dumbed down version, and it almost was like they chose to be cliche as opposed to being original, which I found to be rather lazy on their part. So I agree. But even the action sequences at the time, like so they're making it that like certain animals, basically the powers come from certain animals. That was interesting. The fact that like we get to see like all these different animals, if you bring them into like a powered situation, they actually can do a lot of stuff. I did feel that Jamie Foxx's power was kind of random.
Yeah, like what animal is that? I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Also, how did he not kill everyone in his vicinity?
Yeah, like how does he manage to control something of that caliber? That was I didn't get that.
That was another part. I'm like literally everyone in her, including the kid, should have been killed, but by some miracle, everyone else just like got blown away and like got turned to ash and got crushed and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
The only thing about that was like, there was this like emanating beam that kind of came around him, but there was a specific control, and it's kind of, I think that what they're trying to do, though it was a bit lazy, is that like, and I actually ended up looking up more about that shrimp later because I was curious. And so like when it fires it's shot, it has like one arm that's one claw that looks like a lobster, and the other one that looks like a normal shrimp's like tentacles. And so when it fires it, that beam is very specific and deliberate, but there is like overall air pressure that's happening around it. It just doesn't has much of an effect, but the thing it shoots direct air at is the thing that's going to get hit. And when because I've watched back today some like stuff on like analyzing the powers, when he has this thing where he moves a hand in a specific direction, so it's like it's the stuff that's emanating from him, but it's not. I think what they're trying to say is that doesn't hurt anybody. It's the specific action when he controls it with one hand or the other, and then you would see like something move in that direction, and then basically what's the word for it, like disintegrate that individual that it hit. So there was like a control that he had to apply, but it would push a lot of things out of the way. It just wouldn't create enough heat to break them apart, so to speak.
Yeah, but like again, like I understand subtlety and like I'm all for it, but if you're going to such a degree that the only way you're able to like catch these things is like through a analysis video after the fact, that may not be the best approach. So I
caught a lot of it in the film, but I also just looked up more after the fact because I was just curious.
Yeah, like for me, I felt this was a lazy film, and it had a lot of talent on screen. And if we just had a better script, like a part of me is actually amazed that Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like maybe he just needs the money. Like you said, Tactix, he had a baby. He's probably just like, I should go back to work or something like that. Yeah, I wasn't expecting all that much for it, so that's why I wasn't disappointed. Hence why I'm giving it a 6. But it definitely, I just found it, like, for example, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I loved when he was pretending to be the boyfriend of Dominique Fishback's mom. Like, I enjoyed that scene, and then immediately he goes like running outside and like attaches the phone to like this apparently government black ops team, their truck. They actually, like, you see him running in their rear view mirror, and I'm like, no one bothered to check that he did this. So it's just like stuff, like there were a lot of those type of oddities throughout the film, to the point that I was just like, okay, whatever. Let's keep this going. And then I kept going. I'm like, this is gonna happen. Also, the daughter just was randomly catatonic. Like they didn't talk about her. Like, I know they didn't have a lot of time, but it would have been nice to get some level of character development of her, not her just being some two-dimensional character who just needs to be saved and is so traumatized that she doesn't even bother to speak or hardly speak at all. I'm just like, there was a lot that could have been done that wasn't, and I find that to be disappointing.
Mm-hmm. I have a thought on this, because you said some stuff and it sparked some ideas in my head. So one, I've just, from watching like different actors on actors interviews and stuff like that, one thing that I've kind of learned is that a lot of times when actors choose a movie, right, they have no idea how it's going to turn out at the end of it, right?
Agreed.
And usually the script that they see at the beginning and the ideas that are presented to them, when the movie ends up turning out bad, it's not what they signed up for, right? Because they don't know like what's going to happen in the editing room at the end of it, and they don't know what happens.
Like Justice League.
Right? Especially a good example, a perfect example always. So I have a feeling that like say Joseph didn't choose a lazy film for the paycheck, but I do know that a lot of actors have been focusing their attention towards Netflix because there's a lot of opportunity there for different and interesting things, and they're just looking at where the future opportunities are. They want to get in the Netflix world because, you know, even getting one film in Netflix could mean more films in Netflix as Netflix grows, right? Yeah. And it's the future, right? But the one thing that I have this thought that kind of crossed my head, which is, I wonder if this film was rushed because of COVID, as in Netflix, like they were building it and there's a lot of CGI that they do, right? There's a lot of expense there. And they had more that they filmed that they didn't include because they didn't have time to complete the CGI, and they rushed it because literally, like going back to Tactix thing, you know, they'd rather have a small rain in a drought than nothing. Right. And so they maybe what if they, I don't know, I'm just basing this off of like out of my ass, right? But like what if they bumped it up, right? What if it was a September release or like a December release, and they're like, can you guys get it done in August? Right? And they're like, we can cut some stuff, and like, okay, let's do that because like we want to get this out, right? It's just a random thought, because like I don't know if like you're saying like the writer for Batman and the whole, you know, Dominique's like storyline, like they felt like there was that like they weren't dumb.
There should have been more.
Yeah, like it didn't feel like they were completely dumb. They had put a lot of thought into stuff, but it came out kind of lazy. So I have a follow-up question though. So we got what we got. We can't sit here and like fiddle over like, oh, you know, could it have been better? But like, what if there's a lot of love for it, and Netflix decides to do a follow-up because they left it open for a follow-up? And do you think that, like, you know, given the, like everything that we've talked about, there is potential that enough that they could like build out and really make the second one way better? Or you think that they're going to be like, oh, let's keep it close to the first and we'll get another like lazy film if they do that?
T, how about you go first?
I honestly thought that this film had a lot of potential, and there was a lot of good ideas that were poorly executed. Like the whole 5 minutes of power was an interesting concept. I never would have thought of something like that, right? So I really like that, and I feel like they could have really built on that and expanded on that. I would have loved to see that concept as like heist film or something like that, where you like something that like requires like a level of like time restriction, where it's like you only have a certain amount of time, and utilizing that concept into it, right? So if there was ever to be another sequel, I would want something along those lines, going down that kind of avenue. You know, and with the organization and like the whole, it being like a drug that's being released on the streets, I also liked that element, and I think there's a good storyline there as well that again was poorly executed. I feel like the whole like, oh, I'm trying to save my daughter is really played out, and for this kind of a movie, I don't think that was the right story, the right plot point for it. And even if you are going to do it, I feel like there was a lot of stuff that was left on the table, like Umar, like what you were saying, like the daughter, like it's like she's like a pivotal part of the movie, and yet she's barely in it. You barely get any explanation as to like her background or anything. I must have blanked out a couple of times because I don't even know what the significance is in terms of how they were getting power from her.
I'm the same way. Like I was trying to think about that today, and I was just like, wait, I actually don't know why she still has powers. Like, is she an evolved individual, or was she like an experiment?
No, I remember those details. So what it was is that he was experimented on, right? And way back when in the military, and then they brought out his power through the experimentation. So when he had a child, they used this metaphor. They talked about the something alcohol syndrome, where if you are like an alcoholic, your children, you can pass that gene down to your children.
Yeah.
So they use that as a metaphor or analogy to say that like so she actually has the genetic, has the powers passed down genetically, and her powers have no restrictions. So they're constant. So she's a full-on superhero, which her power is to heal. And so they're testing her. They're testing her to figure out how to unlock beyond the 5 minutes. So she's the key. So if they were to do a sequel, the most likely scenario is they're going to go after her still, because, or they found her and they killed her, and Jamie Foxx and both of them are gone, which would be probably not what they do, because they want Jamie Foxx for a second. So they probably have to chase after her, and it's a race to unlock it, or they do unlock it. They capture her and they do unlock the secret, and it goes beyond 5 minutes. I don't know. It'd be something. It's always gonna be around unlocking the 5 minutes to infinity, right? So.
Yeah, like I agree with Tactix. Like I'm done with like getting the daughter, like that sort of thing. I would have much rather we done the first movie, just seeing how this is like affecting the people of New Orleans. Like they kind of like glossed over it. They hit all the points, but they kind of glossed over the points. I would have liked to be like, okay, they got the drug dealers got the drug. They started spreading it, and like show how the 6 weeks progress over time, and then also showing how like the police are being overrun and shut down. Like that was an interesting plot thread that they just kind of threw out the window. And also the fact that like they just kind of like talked about the fact that like his captain kind of was betraying him the whole time.
They glossed over that too. And I like to kind of piggyback off of your point, Umar. I would have loved to see something along the lines of like addiction, like people like actually getting addicted to these powers. Like I feel like there was a missed opportunity with Machine Gun Kelly's power, where it was literally causing physical damage to him, and yet he was just like, yo, I'm gonna still keep doing this shit because And I feel like that could have been a good opportunity for like, you know, someone who's like power hungry to like, but even though it's destroying your body slowly, you're still so, you know, you're basically craving it to the point of suffering, right? I would have loved for them to delve kind of into that concept a little bit.
Yeah, and also like just like the same thing with like I liked how Joseph Gordon-Levitt he had the timer on. That was interesting. Like that's like the more, I guess you could say, like tactical individuals who use the power to kind of to their advantage, they're smart enough to put a clock watch as opposed to just randomly, you know, being like, oh, I'm out of power sort of thing. I also like the go on.
Sorry, Darcy, have you ever seen Meteor Man? I only ask because it's like a black film, but
I've heard of it, never seen it.
Yo, so there's a similar concept of like time where it's like he can basically touch a book and then absorb all the information in the book for about, I think it's like 60 seconds or something like that. So like there's one scene where he touches Bruce Lee's book, and he knows G can do like instantly for like a 60 seconds or whatever. So that whole concept of time just reminded me of that.
Oh,
but yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so like for me, I think that they were trying to rush. The problem of this was they were trying to rush a franchise. It felt like they were trying to create a franchise. People, I don't know why studios or like Netflix, surprisingly, people like the whole thing with MCU, they took their time. They started with Iron Man, they worked their way up. That's kind of how you got to do this, and you have to make like a good solid product and then build on that. I guess you guys were right. Netflix, when it comes to films, they kind of flop. I hadn't kind of really thought about that because like I enjoyed Old Guard and I enjoyed
Extraction.
Look, I haven't seen it yet.
What? What?
Get out of here! Go watch that one. That's
you're not gonna like the reason why I haven't watched it.
Why haven't you watched it? You were watching Sailor Moon?
I knew I set you up for that one weeks ago, but I'm surprised you came at it now.
Swish.
No, I'm waiting to watch it with a friend.
Gotcha.
Oh my god!
Gotcha. I don't.
It's Jimmy.
You better be watching that like right away. I'm putting that down on the list. Umar better get this done. Okay. But
I will get to Extraction.
I got something I want to throw here. Okay. So you guys are talking about everything, and I'm like, this is how I wish the movie played out. Now that I'm listening to you guys talk, so I wish because they did this one thing in the movie that was smart. Like there was a lot of hints of smart things, and yet this not executed well. So one, Joseph's character was dealing with the police corruption thing, right? And he was dealing with the issues of seeing how powerful they were against the police, right? And he was told a lie about Art, or Jamie Foxx's character, right?
Yeah.
Then you have Jamie Foxx's character trying to get his daughter and fighting against the capitalist system that's taken her, the business and everything like that. Then you have the girl, the black girl Magic, and she's trying to do stuff for her mother, and she's dealing the drugs. So you have all three of these layers, and they're supposed to have these stories kind of have an intersection, which they do have an intersection, right? Near the end of the film. But if they had played it out longer, and I wonder if they did write it like this, but with what you guys said, right? So you basically explore the drug dealing side of it, right? And maybe you don't introduce the fact that Joseph and Black Girl Magic know each other as early on as you do. So you see her dealing it, and then you see like the effects of like the addiction thing, and you see how other people use it. Then you go over to Joseph's character, and you see like the effects that it's having on the police, and in him talking to the captain, and him giving him the information, and you're not really sure if it's true or not, or maybe you think it's true. Like he's an honest man, like the police captain. And then you see Jamie Foxx's character, and you play that out for a bit, and the whole movie leads to the intersection, and you leave the movie on a cliffhanger of where it's going, but you build this whole idea of like you spend more time building out the world by showing how is it affecting the people, how is it affecting the police, and what is going on with this one guy and him trying to get his daughter in the middle of all that. He's kind of like, his story is the weird thing that's like, the two other things are more expected, and his is like, okay, but how does this guy play, and why is he fighting these people? Like, maybe you don't explain why he's fighting these people right away, and you find out later on, oh, it's a daughter thing, and it's like a surprise, right? But you let that all play out till you get near the end of it. Then you have the intersection. Then they're like, they have to go to charge, and that go to charge is like, all right, to be continued, kind of a deal, right?
Like, I agree. Like this should have been like a step-by-step process if it was going to be movies. Like make it like a series of movies, and like don't rush it all into one thing, or make it just like a mini series or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we should probably move on to our next topic. I want like a lot of comic book movie news has been hitting the streets, or the internet, and one of them being that Olivia Wilde.
Do you guys know streets, by the way? The
COVID streets. Olivia Wilde has been confirmed to be a director for a female-led MCU film in part of Phase 4. and it is heavily like rumored that it would be Spider-Woman.
Mm-hmm. I know she retweeted the article and put a spider emoji.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that this morning too. So like, it sounds like she even believes it'll go that way, unless she does Spider-Gwen. If she does Spider-Gwen, that'd actually be pretty badass also. Nonetheless, what are your thoughts on those? Wait, hold on. Have you guys seen her movie Booksmart?
No, but I heard. So I was watching, some podcast stuff about this, and I haven't seen the movies that she's directed yet. But I watched an interview of her talking about not Booksmart, but the other film that's coming out, and she was talking about filming a sex scene from behind the camera as a director, and she was talking about how when she was an actor there would always be all these men in the room watching it and how weird it was to have an intimate scene. So what she did with her film is she put only the people and just the necessary camera people and took everybody and she even tried to take herself out of the room, and then the actor's like, no, we want you here, and how she just tried to create a different scene of intimacy. So listening to her talk about how she directs without seeing any of her films makes me go like, she's special just off of how she thinks about the process.
Yeah. T, have you watched it? Just I didn't hear your response.
No, I haven't.
Okay, then I will say that I have watched Booksmart, and it is awesome. Like not just like, oh, it's a good film. I mean, like, holy shit, that was awesome. It's a coming of age story, and it's of two best friend girls who are like massive nerds. I'm giving, like, I won't spoil anything since neither of you guys watched it, but after watching that film, I was like, give Olivia Wilde any film she wants. Like, I am a instant convert to her directorial aspect, and what you just told me now, Darcy, makes me even love her that much more. So I am very happy with her taking over like any kind of directorial stuff with MCU. Hell, frankly, if Patty Jenkins doesn't want to keep doing Wonder Woman, I'll be like, give Olivia Wilde Wonder Woman or something like that. Like, basically give more stuff to Olivia Wilde in terms of directing is what I'm coming from.
Yeah, I heard Booksmart is like a rich man's version of Superbad. Like, how was it described?
Yeah, because like, so while Superbad is like stupid, and like stupid funny sometimes for other people, other times it's just like massively crude. Booksmart is relatable and incredibly thought-provoking.
Interesting. I do remember seeing the trailer for it because I just like Googled it like to see what the pictures were. And I saw, like, I'm seeing the actor's face, and I remember seeing a trailer for it and thinking, oh, that's really interesting, and then just never heard about it again, and didn't get around to watching it.
It didn't get a lot of press. I can't, like, it. People were thinking this is and it has been. It's become like a cult classic on because I watched it on Amazon. But I really wish it, like, I wish this movie was a Netflix movie. Hands down. If this was a Netflix movie, this would possibly be the best Netflix movie there was.
Oh, interesting.
It hurts to hear.
I know. I highly, so while you guys highly recommend that I go rogue and just watch Extraction on my own, I'm going to highly recommend that you guys check out Booksmart.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to watch it. But I'm game because, like, after hearing about her directorial style or whatever, like, because she literally had like the camera person, one other person for lighting, one other person for like miking or something like that. Like, she kept it like very minimum, and she's like, all right, should I take myself out of the room? And they're like, no, because she also created the intimacy. They're like, we need you, but like half it was because the scenario that she set up, they needed.
I know which scene you're talking about, and like, I actually would love to see what you guys think after watching it.
Okay, so it is this movie. All right. Yeah, but
okay. So, are you guys big fans of like the Spider-Woman? Do you guys? Okay. So we don't know which one it is. Very likely going to be Spider-Woman. But what would you guys want her to direct? A female-led superhero.
I don't know much about Spider-Woman, so I can't really comment on that specifically, but I wouldn't mind seeing a Spider-Gwen just because prior to Into the Spider-Verse, I didn't really know much about Spider-Gwen either. But because we've now kind of gotten a taste, I would like for I would like us to explore that a little bit more in a live action fashion. I feel like that's doubtful though, because of the fact that if they're going to be doing another Into the Spider-Verse, I feel like isn't she getting her own movie anyway, or her own animated?
Yeah, I think she is. Yeah.
Yeah, so I that's probably off the table. In regards to what other movie I would want her to,
I would say like think across the board, like any like DC, Marvel, any female superhero film. What would you get? Like, I know it's hard for you guys to like picture, given that you haven't seen Booksmart, but like with my strong recommendation of her directorial style, what would you guys want to see?
well, first and foremost, I really like. I think it's interesting when actors make the transition and want to go into directing, just because they already have experience from one side, and then just to kind of take what they know from the inside looking in, and then bringing it to behind the scenes type of format, and implementing their skills in that way, I think is hit or miss. But usually when it's a hit, it's a big hit, and so I'm definitely all for her.
Like Ben Affleck
Ben Affleck, perfect example, right? But in terms of what I would want to see, I mean, why not a She-Hulk? You know, why not She-Hulk? Why not Wonder Woman? You know, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm ashamed to admit this, but I don't know many female
fair enough,
because they don't resonate with me personally. So I mean, it's, you know, that's the only reason why. But I mean, I'm game for any one of those. Like a She-Hulk or a not Spider-Woman, Wonder Woman.
How about you, Darcy?
So first off, I gotta do this. Why is it female led? Why does she have to direct female led? Why can't she just direct any superhero? I gotta call it.
Because we don't have a lot of female led or female like.
I'm with you that by all means she should definitely take up the reins and give that perspective and that care and that love that is needed. I just meant like it just sounded like we were limiting her, and I'm like, you don't have to be limited.
Agreed.
You know, I similar to Tactix. You know, I struggle with. I feel like there hasn't been enough female representation that I'm super familiar with, especially in Marvel, because I'm just not as familiar with what's going on from the female perspective. Like, I have not been as familiar with Marvel growing up as I was with DC. I struggle with an answer on this one. I just don't have like a lot. I want
Batgirl.
Batgirl?
Yeah. Like from the grassroots, like she's been hearing about Batman. She comes across Batman. She like her dad, all that sort of stuff. Like I want, like, if she does like a college student Batgirl for like year one sort of thing. Yo.
Yes, but I want that to be set up in a Batman movie first, and then have it branch off, kind of similar to how they do it in TV series, where like for example with Arrow, where they introduced Barry Allen in an Arrow episode, and then he got his own spin-off show. I would want it to be something like that, because I feel like with that dynamic with Batgirl, I think she needs. I feel like I personally would want that set up like a teaser type of thing, even if it's just a teaser. We don't get to see her suit up or anything, but she's at least like the character is introduced in a Batman film. Then we spin it off, and whether or not we want to combine those universes later on to make a big movie, or just keep them separate after that.
Counter proposal. I would actually prefer it the other way around, where Batman is kind of like the end result, where we are hearing, like, because like for example, like they're talking about doing villain movies before like setting like Venom, for example. He has no connection to Tom Holland, and but it wasn't until the recent trailer for Morbius that we're getting like a combination of all this in one universe. I actually like the idea of like you're hearing about Batman. He is like the urban myth, and like Batgirl is like inspired by someone she's not even sure is real, except for the fact that her dad is telling her that it's real. And he's even being coy about it.
That would be a good idea, only where we are getting a Batman movie now, so it's kind of like,
I know,
you know what I mean? So like, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like he's kind of like this mystical being that we don't really know. We hear we hear him through the grapevine and whatever, but we don't actually get to physically see him. And then, throughout the movie, Batgirl or Barbara Gordon is inspired by him. And then near the end, you can do a teaser where like he shows up or something like that, or whatever the case may be.
And I would also like to see Olivia Wilde kind of show like the human and also like the badass thing. Like, so basically her boyfriend or the guy she's interested in is like this aloof, ward, Dick Grayson, and she's like, oh man, this guy, he's from a rich family, all that sort of stuff. Me and him do get along a little bit, but like he's always disappearing. And like for her partner would be Nightwing. But like not so much like a partner. He's just a guy who's like either getting in her way when she's like first starting out, or like that sort of stuff. So like I kind of want to see. Yeah, so that's where I'm saying. And that's why I like the idea of Olivia Wilde kind of like taking on that reins, because that would be sick. But yeah, so that's just me.
You win me over a little bit with that one. Though I haven't seen the movie, but I get the feeling that I heard she has a really good sense of comedic timing, and I kind of want to find a character that has more comedy to it than a darker humor, or darker like aspect to like the lore of the character. And I'm like kind of looking and trying to like figure out other ones. Like I don't really want to go the like Harley Quinn route. Part of me wants to go Supergirl in a really weird way, and do something
actually,
like
Supergirl would be. Yeah, Supergirl might be interesting, but I think because like the TV series is like it's getting it done to death a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely think that plays a factor. I think that there could be something to talk about with Katana, the magic,
the ninja.
Not the ninja, the magician,
the sword itself,
the magician.
Oh, yeah, the magician. Is it Katana or
Zatanna? Zatanna. I thought you said Katana.
I did say Katana. I was like, I forgot how to say her name, and I'm reading something, and part of the like name is cut off by like an icon, and I'm like, is it Katana? Zatanna.
No, actually, Zatanna's not a bad call. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing that, because like that would be cool. That would be cool.
I just don't want her to take over Wonder Woman, and it's not because I don't think she can do it. It's because I feel like it's just like we're limiting again, right? And it's like, oh, female director, you want a superhero movie? All right, you take over after this woman, just like a finish. Like it feels, it just, and I don't even feel like Wonder Woman would be the tone of what would have her capabilities. I feel like it would be a limiting factor. Whereas I'd rather her come and bring that thing. And the reason I kind of like Supergirl is because I feel like you could do something really left field and surprise everybody. But Zatanna could be also really interesting because the whole universe could be a lot of fun to play with. And I was like looking at other people, but I'm like, I'm not really sold on my other ideas, so I'm going to go with those two.
Fair. All right, then we'll just we'll transition to our last topic for today, which would be the news of the Flash movie. So there's actually quite a few pieces of tidbits of information we got from this. One, Ezra Miller is still attached to the film,
so no fucks given for him choking out some chick.
Yeah. Okay. The same thing with and there's no investigation either. Nothing. Like from all we know, it's still a go with him being in set. So I was like,
imagine if that was Ray Fisher. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And actually, to be fair, Amber Heard is still attached to the second Aquaman movie, with no sign that she's being taken out either.
And what's the deal with Amber Heard?
That was the whole thing with her and Johnny Depp. Like originally it seemed like she was the one who was like a victim of domestic abuse by Johnny Depp, but now it's like viewed that she may have like set him up to come across that way, when actually she's the one who's been like cutting fingers off and stuff like that.
Wait, but, literally, or?
Yeah, apparently he went to like he went to the emergency room because she cut off a finger and it was like hanging off his.
What the fuck?
These are all like no, these are legit like accusations flying around. Like the both of them. That's why I'm not taking a side in this. They both sound like they had a really fucked up relationship. I'm just like, yo, like I'm just like, ugh.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know who to believe. I originally believed her,
cray.
but like apparently both sides have pictures and videos of like abuse being done to both. So I'm just like, okay, maybe they just had a really fucked up relationship. Okay, so she's still attached to Aquaman, and also Ezra Miller is still attached to the Flash. So apparently, Warner Brothers doesn't give a fuck.
Wow.
And the rest of the news?
Darcy's like, please let there be more. Please let there be more.
Go on.
So the rest of the news is that Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman for the Flash movie, which will be Flashpoint.
And he ain't cutting off no fingers either. So that's good.
That's good. And also, he's not choking his girlfriend Anna de Armas.
He's just cutting off the booze. That's all. He's cutting off the booze.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which is a good thing
for him. Yeah, and also Michael Keaton is officially confirmed that he is going to be in the Flashpoint movie, and they're both going to be in it together.
So I'm curious about this because, like, my first thought was like, oh, okay, so he can't play Thomas Wayne because we've already established who Thomas Wayne is. Yeah. So then what? Are they just gonna have two different Batmans from two different universes meet each other? Like,
kind of, maybe,
probably. Because I'm like, oh, he's Thomas Wayne. No, because then what? Then they would bring back Morgan.
Yo, that's gonna blow my fucking mind, yo. Like, oh shit, Michael Keaton coming back, and then he's gonna be alongside Ben Affleck, which, you know, Justice League aside, I found him dope in Batman v Superman.
So assuming we're back in theaters by the time this thing comes out, we better be. It's like 2022. I need to set a rule now, and we're gonna do this live, okay? Umar, you're gonna have to promise this now, live. You're gonna have to hold yourself to this. Okay?
Yes. Okay? Yes.
Where's this going?
When this happens, we're all sitting in this row enjoying this, okay? Okay, you hear me? And Tactix.
I don't think I can keep this promise. I don't think I can keep this promise.
Tactix is going to be on my left, right? And you go see Keaton, and he's going to see I forgot his name all of a sudden.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, thank you. I kept thinking Bruce Wayne, which is true. But so you see Ben Affleck and you see Keaton there, and it's super exciting. And Tactix is super, super excited. Umar, no matter how you feel, you are not allowed to.
What I'll do is I'll take a bag with me and go just like do it in the bag.
No, that's worse.
Yeah. Otherwise, we put your whole head in the bag and suffocating your ass.
Okay, I will do my best when I'm sitting next to you both in the movie theaters in 2020 when COVID is a thing of the past and when we're seeing Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton on screen. I will do my best not to be disappointed and sigh, or to use my hands, or to kind of like, you know, just put my hands on my face like this. I will do my best.
Bro, no matter how bad it is, at least enjoy that moment. Cause like that's like fan service to a T, man. Like
that's not my fan service. My fan service is they're doing they do Batman Beyond, and he's old man Bruce Wayne, and we see Terry in the background. Then I'm fan serviced, and then I'm happy.
Okay, but what if they switch it up without us knowing, and they just throw Terry in that scene?
Oh,
like without us even fucking knowing, bro. They just be like, and this is Terry.
Oh, who's
what
that?
Actually, not even do that. It's like Ben Affleck's like, oh, you got another Robin? It's like, no.
Oh snap! Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, I'm just hoping for some like secret casting rumors. You know what I'm saying? Umar, for early practice, okay, just in case, if you do feel like you're gonna be there and something's, you know, you're just not going your way, put your hands under your ass and just sit there and be like,
I'll take a deep breath, like, or something.
No, that the breathing is the problem. That's a signal. That's like,
you better take that mouth shut, bro.
Fine. I promise I will do my best. I will sit on my hand.
Yeah, exactly. Just eat popcorn in that moment. It's not too loud though.
I'm glad to see that Ben Affleck is like getting himself back into like the shape that he needs to be for the role, which is also good for him. I'm also doing it. I think he's doing it for Anna as well, because he's like, yo, I got a hot girl. I definitely need to like shape up. But I don't know.
She I liked you when you was in Batman. It's like
for me, I just gotta say that unless this movie is written really well and done cleverly, I'm not a big fan of how it's shaping up right now. But to be fair, I am still holding out hope for the Batman movie because that thing technically is like a Frankenstein monster. Like it has been like ripped apart, redone, recasted, everything. Like I can, and it's been shut down, restarted, shut down, restarted, rewritten, all the galore. I have no idea what that movie is going to be. I'm just trusting in Matt Reeves. I don't know who to trust in with this Flash movie, but the fact that they got Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck in it, I'm just like. But then again, like I didn't watch the full thing, but we got in that Arrowverse crossover when they got like Kevin Conroy to be like old man Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. They did a lot of cool things. Yeah, see, exactly. Like it's fan service to get the actors back, but if the writing and directing isn't good, who the fuck cares?
But then it's a CW show, so I mean.
Agreed.
Can't really expect much.
Warner Brothers hasn't really been batting a perfect game either.
like that's a statement that needs to be made.
I'm also worried that I got that phrase wrong because it's a sports metaphor, and I don't know if that's the right thing. Batting the perfect game.
No. That's not the right metaphor.
We got the gist though.
Yeah, we got the gist. Yeah, I forget what perfect game, which sport it lines up with, but no. I mean, yes, but no. So I also had this random thought that popped in my head. Is like, you know how Ezra Miller and what's his name? The CW Flash.
Grant Gustin.
Grant Gustin. I needed to get it out there. Yeah, but Grant Gustin. They met, right? What if? With everything going on with Ezra Miller and his inability to keep his hands to himself, what if he runs himself out of the movie and another guy just shows up and different the cliffhanger is like WB does like a replacement midway through the movie and it's a different Flash comes back and that's
not even midway, just in the beginning, the opening credits, yo.
Oh man,
I would literally I would give that a standing ovation. I'd be like,
because you know what, like you fire an actor midway through a film, you got to start the whole thing over again, or you got to do some crazy CGI like they did with Kevin, what's his name, where they replaced it, where they had another actor and they CGI'd the face and replaced him. Kevin Spacey. Right? Like after that film. But this is actually one of the scenarios where you could replace the character midway through a film and actually keep both characters in the film.
Yeah.
You can logically explain it in the context.
Yeah.
Like, comes in like Ezra Miller, comes out Grant Gustin. Whoa, he's now in the movie universe.
and like also, I don't know if Flash is still continuing. Like, is that like still going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have at least for another season. They didn't finish this season properly because of COVID, so they were two episodes short of finishing it. So their hope is that when they pick up next season, that they will kind of start the new season with the end of the last season mixed into the storyline, because it's uncharted territory. Like, even though that fundamentally sounds wrong, I mean, what can you do? Like, you got to live with it. And also going to be interesting to see how they also pick up and. What's his name is out, because the thing was they were building his character up at the end of the season, so it's like he was becoming a pivotal character to the team. Now he's going to be gone, and it's like he wasn't like a side character. Like you could talk away right now Vibe, because Vibe has been downplayed. I don't know if he's just shooting other stuff, or maybe he had problems with Stretchy Man over here, but he has been lesser in the show, so you could talk him out. But
maybe he just molds his face to look like another actor.
Yeah, they just replace him with a different actor.
Yeah, it's like, I'm tired of this face, and he's just like, and he's now Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
God, I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't.
He would never do it.
Yeah,
he would never do it.
That'd be a step down for sure.
Yeah.
It's like you need somebody who needs a job right now to step into that role and be like, I was this guy.
So I know we're probably going to talk about this next week, but the Snyder Cut is going to be released tomorrow. Actually,
yeah. Are you guys watching it live tomorrow?
Sorry, wait. Snyder cut the whole.
No,
thing?
yeah, they're showing it's the DC or the DC fandom thing.
Yeah.
I know
like
fandom tomorrow, which I'm probably not gonna be able to see live because I'm gonna be at a thing. But I thought
Justice League.
Yeah, but they're releasing the whole Snyder cut. I thought that was going to be released as a multi-series show.
No, just the preview. The preview.
Oh, the preview. So the way you phrased that was Snyder cut's being released. I'm like, wait, what?
I thought it was being released tomorrow.
The whole thing?
Hold up.
No, it can't be because
it's just the preview, bro.
Okay. I'm checking right now because like since we're over here, we might
don't play with my emotions, bro.
Bro, I mean, you can't drop something like that. You can't just say something like that.
That's what I thought. It said August 22.
I was under the impression that it was just a preview. Like we were getting a teaser.
Okay, hold on. I'm quickly searching through.
No, the release date is 2021 still, man.
Okay, on HBO Max. Okay, cool.
This motherfucker, bro.
Yeah,
I would have been more disappointed than you guys.
It's an HBO Max, all this stuff, all this talk, and he's be like, "Yeah, we're gonna drop it on YouTube." Like, no. If it was be dropped on YouTube, this would have been out years ago.
Okay. Then I stand corrected. Thank God, because I would have been thoroughly disappointed tomorrow if you guys didn't help me figure this out. I'd be like, you guys, I'm still waiting.
like 5 minutes in, he's like, this thing's over. He's like, that's it? 5 minutes? It doesn't feel like Zack Snyder at all.
Yeah, so they're showing previews for all the DC stuff, but like each one is getting like 10 minutes. I think the Snyder cut is getting like 25 minutes or something like that.
Probably.
Oh
yeah.
Matt Reeves is gonna show some stuff related to the Batman.
Yeah,
I don't want to frankly, I don't want to know. Like they showed us like a preview of what he looks like, but like guys, I just do the movie, finish the movie, let us see the first trailer, and that's what I need. I don't want any more like rumors or like pictures or anything like that. Like let's do normal trailer and let's get this moving forward.
I don't know if I can avoid that, man. I gotta see it. See it, man.
Especially now with like less stuff going on. It's like, it's again, it I don't care if it's a drizzle or a torrential downpour in a drought, all water.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tactix, I love when you're saying your earlier example and you're like, oh, the guy's starved, he hasn't like drinking like 2 days. He comes by a guy and he's like, oh, I'm giving out free water. And the guy asks the question, what water? Why would you ask? You'd be like, yes, please.
Why is someone selling like sparkling water in the desert?
Yo, it can happen, bro. He's an opportunist. He's like, yo, I see this guy struggling out here, man. I'm gonna sell him some water right now.
That's legit. That's legit. Pure perfect. That's demand. That is pure economics right there.
Supply and demand, man.
Yeah, he has a demand and guys got supply. But when you starving and you out here just in a drought, you don't ask what kind of water do you have. You say yes, please.
Yo, some people be like, I'd rather die than drink sparkling water.
Yo, that person also doesn't wear a mask when they go to the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, sir, I was starved before I have that water because it ain't my Evian. All right. So I guess that is it for today's episode. We are wrapping things up. I'm your boy Tactix.
It's your boy Darcy. I always get water in the desert.
And this is Big Geek Umar. Thank you all for watching. Live long and prosper, y'all. And also like and subscribe.